Why y'all do so much life? That's that colonizer mindset. Y'all creating false life and living that shit according. African tribal people don't have to worry about this. They don't have to worry about going outside their hood and somebody recording them and make a video on them. Look what this person has on. They're not following a certain code. It don't matter. Your whole idea of class is based off something that somebody else created. You wasn't born thinking, oh, this is classy and this is not classy. Somebody told you that. For example, a suit. Somebody created a suit, wanted to sell this suit, and told you this suit was classy. The same thing with diamonds. Diamonds, they don't have the value that they say they hold. Somebody found diamonds, found this gem, had no use for it, and created an artificial value around it. It's the same thing with so much stuff in this world. Wearing a suit, it's the same thing. Having to wear a do-rag to a job, it don't matter. If they won't hire you because you wearing a do-rag and you doing something that your soul feels really doing, then you ain't supposed to.
Okay. Do you remember, family, probably estimate about a month ago, I did a video on people who people who don't want to work. And the guy said, it was a really young guy, and he said, everybody should get stuff for free. There should be absolutely no one having to pay for anything, and it should all be free. And I said, okay, great. Who's going to pay for the cost of the free things that you want? Who's going to pay for the labor of the free things you want? Well, unfortunately, that guy, the one from a few weeks back, sounds intelligent next to this idiot. I didn't think it could get dumber. It clearly can. So let's take a look here what he has to say, okay? He says that class is based on, quote, someone else's idea, or basically someone else's mindset of what class is. Sure. And when he talks about the colonization mindset, I'm assuming that that's referring to, once again, the white man is at fault for everything. I don't mean that literally. I think you understand that. But when he refers to, it's the colonizer mindset, and then he's got basically in the next sentence that class is based on someone else's idea, and that we should be able to, quote, okay, basically touch our, quote, soul. And if our soul tells us that that's not working for us, then it should be accepted by general society that, hey, it ain't speaking to my soul. I ain't going to do it. I shouldn't have to do it. And you must accept it. We won't even get into the diamond thing yet, but let's work with what we've got so far. His idea that society should accept whatever touches our individual soul. And actually, let's go ahead and bring in the do-rag. He brings up the do-rag with the job interview, and that's because a few weeks back or a couple months back, some idiot teens decided, hey, and they weren't even teens, they were probably in their 20s at this point, because they were out of their teens, wearing a do-rag and tennis shoes and what looked like possibly yoga bottoms or something to a job interview just wasn't real cool. So this young guy, because he knows everything, is telling other people, I'm going to assume around his age, that look, you're listening to the colonizer, let's just say it, white man mindset or European mindset. And if this isn't who you are, then by golly, you should be able to do, wear anything you want under any occasion, and it should be totally socially acceptable. Perhaps in a utopia. But the bottom line is we live within a society. We live within rules. We have rules for professional. We have rules for casual at home. We have rules for when we're at church. All of these different hats that we have to wear. And what is scary is people not just think like he does, but it's the fact that people agree with him. You will have people, and we've seen it over and over, we will continue to see it, who are quitting their job. Excuse me. Why are they quitting their job? This just isn't speaking to my soul. I just can't work in this environment with someone telling me what I can do and can't do. I can't work in an environment where someone's telling me to go get a job, clock in, clock out. That is the fool's job. There is always somebody on the internet, and I've told you, that will agree with the most stupid idea that anyone proposes. This is an absolutely stupid idea. Him sitting there going, oh, if I want to wear a do-rag to a job interview, and then he says if he doesn't get the job interview, I mean, he didn't say it in so many words, it's basically wear whatever you want, wear the do-rag. I'm sure that's what he was referring to, was that job interview scene, okay? Wear the do-rag to job interview, that if they don't hire you, it's because they weren't touching your soul. No, baloney. They didn't hire you because you look like an idiot showing at a job, not dressed professionally for the job. I can't think of any job with maybe, tattoo shop, hair coloring, I don't know, maybe perhaps unloading trucks, whatever, okay? Where I would even think of wearing a do-rag, a bonnet, or whatever on my head to the job interview. So you've got him telling young people, this is the way you should live, even though it's going to go against everything that will help make them not just socially acceptable, but employable. And you have people who will listen to this idiot and they'll go, hey, you know what? Hey, actually, pause. You guys remember that gal about a year or so ago? She decided, by God, she wasn't going to let anybody tell her how to dress for a job interview. And she wears shorts. She wears a white, like the top was fine, was like a white sweater. And then she said she was going to wear picnic shorts on the bottom half. And people are going, yay, power to the people. Okay. Of course, you didn't get the job. The same idiots that will give you this type of information are the same idiots who will not help you pay your bill when you don't get the job because you decided to speak to your soul, espouse your independent, free thinking self, and tell everybody that could have helped make you financially stable, financially secure. Hell, they might even be able to help you grow financially by keeping you around. See, and this is the problem. So he speaks like this, but is he going to help the people go, hey, you know what? I totally agree with you. I want to go ahead and I'm going to wear that do-rag. I'm going to wear that bonnet. And I'm not just saying it could be a do-rag or a bonnet. It could be shorts. It could be a tank top, whatever. Looking inappropriate for the occasion. For us to be successful, we have to have certain culturals and customs. And he sits there and he says, somebody created the suit. Yeah, because they decided the suit looked a hell of a lot better to promote oneself with than going out in my do-rag, tank top, and tennis shoes and yoga pants. See, you can go ahead and you can throw up all, people like him, they can throw up all this stuff and go, but again, it doesn't speak to me. That's not who I am. Well, have you ever heard of off hours? Okay. I know very few people who go to a job, okay, that are actually in the outfit they want to be in all day long, every single day. But they understand that to feed themselves, to feed their family, to, God forbid, perhaps build a career, you're going to have to do some sort of conforming. Conforming isn't all bad, you guys. You have people out there that will act like, oh my God, if you're conforming to anything, then you are bowing down to colonization. You're bowing down to the white man. I mean, come on. That's stupid. That is totally stupid talk. He talks about diamonds and how diamonds are artificial value. You don't think the cell phone doesn't have some artificial value to it? You don't think ridiculously priced purses and watches don't have some artificial value to it? You don't think homes that you really don't need to have that big of a house, that big of a square footage to make ends meet? You don't think that doesn't have some artificial value? You don't think that people who, the keeping up with the Joneses, all of that crap is artificial value, keeping up with the Jones stuff. Okay. Living a nicer lifestyle. Everything we have, for the most part, has some measure of artificial value. Very few things, in my opinion, are truly valuable. I want water. I want electric. I really want my AC. Okay. I want the basics for shelter. Okay. I get that. But beyond our absolute basics of the things we need, come on, really? It's not just diamonds that are artificially valued. You don't think Whole Foods doesn't have some artificial value? No insult to Whole Foods, by the way, so please don't sue me on that. I love Whole Foods. I like to shop there when I can afford it for things that I can't get anywhere else. Okay. I probably only spend a couple $100s a year at Whole Foods because they're really expensive for my budget, for what I choose to put my money towards. But he sits there and he picks out diamonds with artificial value. So I would tell him, okay, fine. You don't want to go ahead and you're tired of living the colonizer mindset. You think everything is artificial value. Young man, I want you to go ahead. I want you to wear that do-rag. Matter of fact, I think you should just go to the next job interview in your jammies and your do-rag. Tell me how that works out for you. But always remember, when you hear idiots like this talking, He may not be talking to you or me, but he's looking for that rebel in the crowd. He's looking for the person that is looking for someone to justify their poor decisions. He's looking for the person that is trying to justify why they didn't get the job. That's right. I didn't get the job because I don't have a colonization mindset. I want to be able to dress and work any way I want, the hours that I want to look the way I want, to darn with what the corporate rules or social rules and standards are. Okay, let me know how that works out for you. Okay, this next one is back to the Julio Fulio unaliving that happened a few weeks ago, and this is one of the defendants. The person that's getting ready to speak is Isaiah Chance. Isaiah Chance is one of the 4 Black men that got life in prison. This happened right here in Tampa, probably not too far from where I live. Oh, the things that go on at night when I'm sleeping soundly in my bed. My mother used to tell me nothing good happens after 10 p.m. I don't know what time this unaliving was, but nothing good happens after 10 p.m. So Isaiah Chance, one of the 4 Black defendants, gets life in prison. But the female, I don't remember her name, the one girl in the whole thing, allegedly, I don't even know if we have to say allegedly anymore, they've been sentenced, okay? She gets 15 years. And she's out. She's actually going to be out, I believe, in her late 30s. Yeah, she's still got a life she can live, like anyone's going to hire for a job, but I digress. So he is upset as to why he got life in prison for the same role in the crime that she played, which was basically, don't quote me, something to do with, getaway car driver, whatnot. Here we go. He's talking to the court.
The rest of my co-defendants here, they all are charged with being the alleged shooters and have the same verdicts. However, me, on the other hand, the one who was charged with me for playing the same alleged role as I, gets found not guilty for what I am charged with. Alicia case didn't contradict the alleged shooters versus the state case. I don't even think it's possible it could have. However, it contradicts mine being the only principal here, because both of our jury's decisions contradict each other. The only nuance is I went to trial with 3 other people who have the same verdict as I, and she didn't. Alicia get found not guilty for my current charge.
Okay, so Alicia Andrews, her name was right on the screen. I didn't even see it. So I believe that is her down at the bottom. There's a snapshot of her, Alicia Andrews. I believe I am right on that. She got 15 years, and then Isaiah Chance, he gets life in prison. Yet I'm always going to use the word allegedly. Okay, I know they've been tried and convicted and all that, but on this channel we will use the safe word. Allegedly played the same role in the crime, which means neither one supposedly, I guess, was the shooter. But here's what people are basically saying. They're basically saying, look, and he's saying it too. He was tried in one trial with the other 3 Black male defendants. Okay. Including the one who came from the military upper lifestyle. Was it Sean Cartwright? I think his name. Okay. He was tried along with them as one trial. And he thinks that because Alicia Andrews, the one female, was tried separately, that the jury was more lenient on her. Either way, I don't know. I'm not a prosecutor, but I will say this. This is why you need to vet your friends very carefully. I guarantee it to you, Alicia Andrews probably spilled the beans on everything she knew to save her hiney. Did it perhaps affect him because we was tried as a group with the other 3 co-defendants? Possibly. But I don't know for sure. But what I do know for sure, I do know that the individual decisions that we make in our life, the individual choices of who we hang out with, the consequences of our actions, these are things that are really, even the consequences, these things are under our control. I believe they were driving from one city in Tampa, from one city to Tampa. I want to say, I thought they said they were coming out of Jacksonville. I again, leave room to be wrong, because I'm not following it all that closely, especially now that it's over. But I know they had a couple hour drive. In that couple hour drive, Isaiah Chance, the young Black male defendant here, could have easily said, hey, you know what? I am out. And if he had been scared for his life, I guarantee it to you, they had a potty break somewhere. He could have easily walked in, called the cops. Okay, the most he might have gotten is a little slap, but he would have been praised for saving, a life. But that's not what happened. So he's sitting there telling the court, basically whiny, oh, cry me, poor baby me. How come I got life and she only got 15 years? But my question, if it pleases the court, is why didn't he turn the car around? Okay. And even if he wasn't the one driving, I tell you, they got a gas brake, they got a potty brake in there somewhere. At any time, better yet, he could have even done it before he got into the car to make the trip. He could have said, oh, you know what? This is not worth it. Guys, we could be looking at prison camp labor for the rest of our life, of our natural life. And they are in the state of Florida. And it gets HOT outside, very, very hot. Yes, prison camp labor for the rest of their natural life till they can work no more. Get up when they tell you to get up, go to bed, eat, sleep, shower, poo, when they tell you to, for your whole entire natural life. Isaiah, along with all the other co-defendants, could have said, hey, you know what? This is a really bad move. Guys, I don't think this is worth it. And again, if he thought his own life was going to be in jeopardy, I guarantee you too, there were multiple times he could have changed it. But I heard that they were perhaps, I think they were in, not such, I don't know if they were associated with gangs or whatnot. I don't know that for sure. But there's that, come one, come all. Yeah, until it comes time for you to go to jail. And then all of a sudden, all the people that you thought were your homies and best friends, they all gone. So what we need to learn from that is he could have made a better decision and he didn't have to be where he is today. So I have no pity for him.